6.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for this special edition of your KCAU 9 News at 6, live from the Tyson Event Center. I'm Sophie Erber. We have a great show lined up for you tonight. Of course, we have team coverage. Tim is taking us into the crowds with thousands of people here. No surprise, there are so many interesting stories of the riders, the vendors, everyone who's made it here for this special 50th anniversary of this ride across the state. And what a crowd here at the Tyson Event Center tonight. I'll also have some interviews lined up with some of the key players who made all of this come together here at the Tyson Event Center. Of course, let's take a live look at that. And Sioux City anticipated thousands of visitors. Of course, while it might create a headache for those of us who live here full time with all the traffic and detours downtown, it means amazing things for local businesses. Of course, they've been gearing up, some of them, since this past January. And one of the people who made sure that that ran smoothly is joining me now, Barbara Sloniker. Barbara is here with the Siouxland Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us today. Say hello to our viewers here at home.
Hello, everyone.
So what's it like seeing all of this finally come together? You guys have known about this for months now.
Yes, it's exciting. It's really exciting to have this day finally here, to see all these visitors and the way our community has responded. The community looks great. I've been walking around and people are very hospitable and welcoming, and that's just exciting to be able to host it here.
Absolutely. And just some reaction. I know you've been around here all day. This is a very long day for Barbara. What's the reaction from people down there in the crowd?
I think they're really excited. A lot of them haven't been here before. We're hosting people from 50 states and 21 countries. So just the fact that, oh, this is Sioux City, Iowa, what do we have to offer? And I think the fact that we're able to answer their questions when they ask, and we do it in a nice way, right?
Of course.
So, it couldn't be done without the volunteers. And we have about 300 volunteers, and they've been amazing.
That was my next question. Of course, she's got the volunteer shirt on. So if you're watching at home and you come down here tonight, of course, there's lots of live music, tons of vendors. I don't know if you can see behind us. If you see anyone in a green shirt, they should have the answers. Message to our viewers tonight who do want to come out, and they have nothing to do with bike riding. What would you say to them?
I would say it's going to be a great time. I mean, we have great entertainment, with ending with the Spin Doctors 9 o'clock tonight. Great band. I think it has a little something for everyone. And just the ability to mix in with all these people and, again, show our Sioux City pride and our Sioux City hospitality.
Perfectly said. Thank you, Barbara. We'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. And Tim Siemens here. Of course, we are anticipating thousands of riders, some of them not in town yet. If you are driving around, you've probably seen all of the tents set up along the river, some setting up tents, but other people are staying in someone's home. In fact, hundreds of people are doing this. KCAU 9 News reporter Tyler Buchner shares the story of one couple who's let in many more riders this year. Tyler?
This is the second year the Ewell family's hosting Ragbrai Riders, and Ben Ewell tells me they've doubled the amount of people they're hosting.
Total, we're going to have about 65 people here.
Last year, the Ewells hosted around 25 to 30 Ragbrai Riders.
Some of our good friends from central Iowa reached out to us about staying with us when it was in Sergeant Bluff, and they brought their whole riding club. They really enjoyed being here last year, so they're all coming back with about 30 more of their friends.
And all the cyclists were able to fit inside the Ewell residence, sleeping in comfortable beds and enjoying air conditioning. However,
this year it'll be a little different. We'll have several outside in the lawn that will be coming in and using the bathrooms and such, but the house will be full. Every room will be full. Every piece of floor will have a sleeping bag on it.
I talked with two of the Ragbrai campers, Greg Connery and Greg Blatt. They told me their plan is to spend their day drinking, swimming, and having a fun time before tomorrow's ride.
The ride will be fun. That'll be a gorgeous ride.
It will be. Between here and Kingsley, it's a pretty good ride.
Yeah. A few hills, a little bit of good time. Nothing too severe.
And I think the amount of people is going to be shocking for most people. And I mean, we've seen it for years.
Yeah.
But it's pretty normal to us. So
this will be outside normal for you.
Yeah.
Depending on where Ragbrai is next year, the Ewell family tells me that they're willing to host again. Live from Sioux City, Tyler Buchner, KCAU 9 News.
Thanks so much, Tyler. And of course, my co-anchor Tim Seaman is spending the night out in the crowd. Lots of interesting people he's met down there, including this big ride's director. Tim?
Sophie, we're back inside, and one of the meetings for the newbies has just ended. Matt Phippen, who is the executive director, is that the right title?
Director of Ragbrai. Is
Close
fine.
enough.
Yeah.
Was just with this massive crowd. There were hundreds in here, all new riders, learning what Ragbrai is and preparing. Matt, 50 is here.
I think this is the fastest year of my life. I can't believe it's July already. I feel like it was just January we were announcing the route.
You mentioned to this large group that this is the largest group of first-time riders the ride has had. Does that concern you?
It concerns me, but it's also pretty magical that they're just now finding it 50 years later. So I kind of ask them, like, where have you been for the last 50 years? Last year there were so many riders that said, this is my first year, I found it, I'll never miss it ever again, and they're back. And you look around to this room that's filing out right now, I mean, there was a lot of people in this room that found this ride and they're riding for the first time.
You mentioned something else I heard you say that I didn't realize, but there will be actual highways closed down this year, and people may not understand how unique that is.
Yeah, and so in 50 years of Ragbrai, we've never closed roads down. Because of the bicycle traffic, the roads do close, but we are looking at two roads, so Highway 69 and Highway 30, because they're big major roads, and for a time frame, they're going to be shut down. So barricaded, there'll be officers out there, there'll be the DOT out there to get riders across those sections safely.
What's your latest estimate on how many people could be out there?
A lot. Is that a number? Was that a number?
That's a safe way to put it. Just lastly, when you talk to people from New York and California and other countries that haven't been here, how do you describe what this is all about?
It's family. I mean, it's the biggest family reunion you're ever going to see. And, these people that come and they find it, they stay at somebody's place and they stay in contact. There's Christmas cards. There's people that have been married on Ragbrai. There's been stories of how Ragbrai saved people's lives because they found it and it changed their life. But no, it's by far, I call it the unicorn. It's a magical ride.
We're glad you're back in Sioux City for the 50th, just like that first one.
I love it. Sioux City was a town that I wanted early on in Davenport. I wanted to have the bookends, just like year one, so we're back.
Well, we appreciate your stay here. Have a safe ride and a great ride, and thanks for your help.
Thank you very much.
That's Matt Phippen. He is the ride director for Ragbrai. He's got a big week ahead of him, Sophie. We'll talk to you again a little bit later tonight.
One of the biggest weeks of his year, I'm sure. Thanks so much, Tim. And we're taking a look at an artistic side of Ragbrai tonight. A Central Iowa artist is actually in Sioux City, and if you're in the area, you might have seen two of his temporary murals. Check this out, pretty cool. All in the spirit of Ragbrai. His name is Isaac Campbell, and he's using a glue made out of flour, sugar, and water for the two 10x10 murals. It's on the south side of the Tyson Event Center and the Longlines Rec Center, so that south wall. He tells us he's using the wheat paste technique. I've never heard of this before. Pretty cool, to create a Junior League of Sioux Cities inspired mural and an Inter-Ocean Wheel Club mural. Campbell explains why he decided to be part of the Sioux City Ragbrai events this year.
It's just about getting people excited about the communities they're visiting, excited about history, and excited about preserving history, and knowing that everybody can contribute to the preservation of local history, especially through things like photographs.
Campbell says he will also craft wheat paste murals in each of Ragbrai's overnight towns. And do stay with us. We have more special covers of all things Ragbrai, and Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, of course, with a look at our steamy Ragbrai forecast. Scott?
Yes, thank you very much, Sophie. We're also keeping an eye on some isolated thunderstorm activity this evening, and we'll have details on how the Ragbrai week is shaping up in your 9 on 9. That's next.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, and Sports Director Anthony Mitchell. This is KCAU 9 News. And now, with Siouxland's most accurate forecast, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson.
Welcome back. Now, if you have been watching KCAU 9 News at all for the last, I'd say at least week, you've been hearing us say over and over again, it's going to be hot, but an especially hot ride for everyone taking part in Ragbrai. Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson here for a much closer look.
Yeah, it's warm and humid outside this evening, Sophie, but we're really going to crank up the heat as those riders get to Des Moines and beyond.
That's
right. It
right.
really looks like they're going to be encountering some incredible heat down that way. That heat wave is expected to take hold as we continue through the weekend and beyond. We should expect to see high temperatures in Siouxland near 100 degrees next week. and there are no major rain chances, but we are continuing to watch a couple of isolated storms on the radar this evening. Let's get the view outside on the Ho-Chunk Center camera in downtown Sioux City now. It shows that we do have a lot of folks gathering here for the big Ragbrai Expo. Again, this is the 50th one to occur, so a lot of excitement as those riders are going to be heading off tomorrow. The almanac today showing a high of 89, the low this morning 58 degrees, so it was very comfortable to begin things today, but we have been working in that heat and humidity through today. We did exceed the average high by 4. Looking in on current temperatures now, you can see that we have some more clouds and haze that has reduced us from our daytime high down to 84 in Sioux City. It's 81 in Orange City now, 86 in Vermilion. We have a temperature near 90 at 89 in Norfolk, Nebraska. So a pretty warm July day. Dew points, those have now risen into the 60s and even 70s in Tacoma, 69 in Sioux City, 68 Lamar's, and 64 in Wayne. So the air is certainly becoming more muggy outside. That's producing heat index values that are about 5 degrees warmer than the current air temperature would indicate. Feels like 85 up the road in Canton, 82 in Cherokee and Storm Lake, 88 is the update there in West Point. Now as we look at our wind speeds, there's not much of a breeze currently, as that is sustained at under 10 miles per hour across our Siouxland map, at 5 in Sioux City, 6 Vermilion, now at 7 miles per hour in Spencer. So very calm conditions are being observed area-wide. As far as the satellite and radar goes, it shows that we do have a couple of isolated showers and storms working their way in from northwest to southeast. The radar looking very similar to what we had yesterday evening when we had that brief thunderstorm happen in Sioux City. Looking at the current radar picture now, you can see that we have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. If we can go back to that. There we go. We do have, again, up in Turner County, a severe thunderstorm warning issued there. And then another one has also been issued toward the city of Ocheyedan. There you can see the details on your screen regarding the severe thunderstorm warnings and their expiration times. Again, the possibility of seeing some large hail and damaging winds as those work through portions of northwestern Iowa and also southeast South Dakota from northwest to southeast. So if you're in the path of either of those storms, make sure that you are seeking shelter right now. There is a marginal risk of severe weather happening as we continue through tonight. No watches at this time, but even still, we could see a couple of powerful storms. As we go to the stormcast here, it shows that we should expect to see some clearing skies through the overnight period as temperatures look to sink back near 60 degrees. Should be a beautiful start to Ragbrai tomorrow. Sunshine, a high temperature of about 90 expected in Sioux City, and upper 80s in Storm Lake, the first stop on the trip. And as we look at the Ragbrai forecast there, you can see that we will have our temperatures really escalate as we get into the second half of the ride. Middle to upper 90s expected as those riders approach the Quad City. So it is going to be important for everybody on the ride to stay hydrated, make sure that they're applying some sunscreen, put on hats, make sure that they're pacing themselves with outdoor activities too, and never leave children or pets inside of cars. Let's get a look at our forecast for tonight. The temperature falls to 60. Looks like we'll have an isolated evening storm or two, then mostly clear skies taking over. Tomorrow a high of 90 is expected, and we should see a fair amount of sun for our Sunday, heating things up. Looking at the 9-on-9 forecast, it looks like our temperatures will be on the way up through next week. We look to reach our peak on Thursday, 97, chances for thunderstorms, and slightly cooler air next weekend.
So again, Scott mentioned hydration. I know a lot of people like to enjoy other beverages along the way. We, of course, are reminding people of the obvious. You already know if you're taking part, drink water. If you're even being a spectator, honestly, in this kind of a heat,
yeah, really need to be careful here through the coming week, especially as riders get to Des Moines and that heat cranks up even further. It'll feel like it's between 105 and 110.
Incredible. All right, hopefully they trade for this. Thanks a lot, Scott. And we are checking back in with Tim. He is with the people. Tim, what do you have this time?
All right, Sophie, just to prove that I'm man enough to come back out in the conditions we're out here where the lions are growing and folks continuing to have a great time. You know, you see a lot of two-wheel bikes, but skates, not so much, but you will again this year as there's a group from all across the country, New York, Arizona, one from Des Moines, but about half a dozen folks. Arnav Shah is with me. He's known as Sonic in the skating world, is that right?
That's right, the skating world, they call me Sonic.
Well, welcome to Iowa, welcome to Ragbrai. This is not your first experience. How excited are you to get the 50th started?
Oh, I couldn't wait. This is going to be such a great event. I'm really excited. It's so well organized, so much fun, such good energy.
I'm curious, bikers by the thousand come to this, so how do they treat guys on rollerblades?
You know, sometimes we worry, but actually there's nothing to worry about. In Iowa, everyone is friendly. People love us. They're spending a lot of time on skates. Helps a lot.
Okay, let's prove to folks that he really has skates on. Show us a little bit here. Go ahead.
All right, sure.
Look for the team of skaters if you're out across Storm Lake coming up tomorrow night or anywhere else on the rest of the route. Have a safe trip.
Oh, thank you so much, Tim.
All right, and have a great time here in Sioux City as well.
Thank you.
Sophie, we'll go back to you. Talk to you a bit later.
All right, thanks so much, Tim. And with thousands of people here in town, it's safe to say they all need something to eat and something to drink, along with some swag and gear along the way. And that is what is taking place here live at the Tyson Event Center. We're giving you a live look at that. Plus, we're taking a closer look at what it takes to feed these masses. Stay with us. As we move past 6 o'clock, you might be looking for something to eat and drink. I know that people are here, and that's where we find Tim Seaman again. Tim, what have you found?
Sophie, it is the dinner hour after all, and I'm not going to miss out, and neither are the, thousands by now that are here, ready for a big night of Ragbrai with a concert coming up a little bit later tonight. This is Los Primos Grill. Joe Hernandez is the guy on the grill. Kenny, you can get a shot of what he's working on there. I see some chicken. I see some beef and whatnot. Joe, I'll let you tell me what all you got going.
We got steak and chicken fajitas going. We got rice bowls. We got gyros, burritos. It's our own version of a gyro. We roll it up in a big tortilla with our own Greek salsa.
It's like a buffet, Sophie. It is a Ragbrai buffet right here, and they have smoothies as well. Hey, so give us an idea how much, let's just say chicken. Give me a ballpark. What will you go through on Ragbrai?
Oh, probably 300 pounds at least.
A day.
A day?
A day.
Yeah.
Last year we went through damn near 1,200 pounds of chicken and steak and gyro meat.
Over the week long?
Over the first 3 days.
Oh, wow. Wow.
We had one of our best years ever, and we've been doing this for a long time. And this is my son. I'm Joe the junior. This is Joe the third.
I was going to call you senior, but I won't do that.
My dad was senior. My late father was senior. He's the one that got us all started in this.
What smells awesome, I'll tell you that. I'll probably have a snack before I come back up, Sophie. But there's food spots like this all over the expo area here. Guys that do it for a living. They travel the course every year. And some locals as well. There's great little local stands as well. So guys, have a great trip, and thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Sophie, back up to you. We'll see you here in just a little bit.
Thanks so much, Tim. I'm getting hungry now just thinking about that, and I can smell everything you were just describing from up here on the deck. But there's more to come. Don't go anywhere there at home. We're now taking another look at the expo here. As you can see, thousands of people. A beautiful event really here at the Tyson Event Center. After the break, we're taking a look at the route these riders will take as they embark on their journey across the state, leaving Sioux City early in the morning. Stay with us. Welcome back. So after this big party wraps up here tonight, the riders hopefully will get some rest, whether they're staying in a tent or in someone's home, and then they start their journey by dipping their tires into the river here in Sioux City. That's getting started very early in the morning. Cyclists dip those tires in at the public boat ramp at Larson Park Road. Then they travel to Hamilton Boulevard, Outer Drive, Floyd Boulevard, that's through the Leeds neighborhood, and then onto 46th Street, where it turns into D12, 110th Street, outside of the city limits. So when the bikers leave Sioux City, they go through Kingsley, Washta, and Quimby, of course, before arriving at their next overnight stop, which is in Storm Lake this year. That's a 77-mile journey with nearly 3,500 feet of climb to get from Sioux City to Storm Lake. So no easy task. Storm Lake was also a Ragbrai destination back in 2015. That is the last time Ragbrai started in Sioux City. Businesses can already tell there's plenty of anticipation for this year's ride in that community as well.
Fortunately, we experienced Ragbrai in 2015, so we have a little bit of history there. Back then, we served approximately 1,200 meals, dinner and breakfast next morning. We're anticipating over 2,000 this year, so we're bumping it up quite a bit. We think it's going to be a bigger crowd. We've been prepping for a couple weeks.
Well, we started planning a few months ago,
yeah,
as soon as they announced it, so.
On Monday, riders leave Storm Lake, then they head to Early, Lakeview, Breda, and Mount Carmel before stopping for the night in Carroll. The rest of the overnight stops are Ames, Des Moines, Tama, Toledo, Coralville, and the route ends in Davenport. Of course, that is a week away from today. We're checking in for one more live look here, but after the break, Scott returns for another look at your forecast and what's going on outside on this hot week here in Siouxland. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It's a warm one out here, very muggy also.
Indeed.
And well, it looks like as riders head through their trip across Iowa, they should expect to see that temperature rise up even higher. 88 our high temperature as we go through Sioux City here, and 87 tomorrow in Storm Lake. You can see those temperatures advancing well into the 90s, especially once riders get to Des Moines and beyond. At times it could feel like it's between 105 and 110 on the ride. So it is going to be really important that those riders are staying hydrated,
Absolutely.
taking some breaks in the shade, no doubt.
Tim was down there today in the crowd.
It was very warm, and I was at that meeting earlier today with all the first-timers. It was interesting how they stressed the hydration on the days to come.
Very important.
This is the 6th longest Ragbrai in the 50 years.
6th longest and probably one of the hottest if I had to guess.
Probably so. Been a great day, though. Everybody's got a smile on their face, that is for sure.
Absolutely, and a really great crowd here, very civil. Thank you for joining us at home. We hope you enjoyed our special edition of your KCAU 9 News.